I was just waiting for you to come in and give you hosting privileges. So you're all
I'm so
set?
sorry. I had the link from the last Friday and was like, what are we doing? Anyway, so much for having me. Hi everyone. Good morning or good afternoon. It's noon here in New York. I'm Fatimah. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm the owner and founder of Paralysis Nutrition, which is a program for people with SCI and paralysis who would like to use the power of food to manage their weight and their bowel health, and also to prevent future health complications. So, Ariani, should I just start?
Yes, you can go ahead. It's recording now, so we are all good.
Okay, perfect. Let me just share my screen, and then you guys can see I have some slides that I like to go with. Okay, share. Here we go. All right, so here we go. All right, I'm gonna just shift this a little bit. All right, perfect. So everyone can see?
Yes.
Yes, okay, perfect. All right. And can I just ask you guys to please mute your microphones, because sometimes there's some background noise, from the people who are living with us or whatever. It makes it kind of difficult for other people to hear. So thank you. So today I want to talk about paralysis and weight, and why it's important to eat a healthy diet when you have paralysis. And I also want to talk about mindfulness and fun foods. So so that's me. So I'm Fatimah Fakhoury. I'm a registered dietitian. I am the wife of a quadriplegic. My husband, Ray, is a C6-7 incomplete quadriplegic. It's been, I think, 17 years. He had a car accident. And we also have 2 little kids. And I live in New York. So that's a little bit about me. And I'm the founder of Paralysis Nutrition. My mission is to empower people living with SCI and paralysis to take control of their health using real food. So I don't do these trendy diets. I don't give you any bad advice, no BS, right? And then there's no bad foods. I really don't believe in cutting anything that you love completely out of your diet. I don't think that that's sustainable, and it's not a fun way to live, right? We want to feel good, we want to eat well, and we want to avoid future health complications. And that is something that you can do when you eat right. So many health things are related to diet. So this is not a fun fact, but it is a true fact. So 65% of people with SCI in the United States are obese. So means that you are medically obese. The SCI population, if your BMI is over 22, that is considered to be obesity. Now that's difficult, right, to look at, because a BMI of 22 is healthy for the general population. But for SCI, when you have lower muscle mass, weight is going to be differently distributed than the general population. And there are many, many reasons why people with SCI and paralysis are obese or overweight. So these are just some reasons why these things happen. Having a lower activity level, obviously, is going to lead to weight gain if we're not careful. Changes in body composition, meaning that you have lower muscle mass and higher fat mass. Lower resting metabolic rate. So that means that you burn less calories at rest than people who do not have paralysis. And that's related to the lower activity level and the changes in your body composition. Also, eating too many calories. I run a program for people with SCI and paralysis, and one of my guys in the men's group for September just posted today that, he's keeping track of his calories now, thank goodness. And he said last week on multiple days, he ate 4,000 calories. 4,000. And he had absolutely no idea. And this is a smart guy, you know, married with a kid, and he just wasn't thinking. So when he had to start tracking, he said, oh my God, you know, I'm eating more than double the amount of calories that I'm supposed to. So a lot of people also, I think, eat the way that they used to prior to their injury or their other, you know, cause of paralysis. And that's not going to be healthy, right? That's going to make us gain weight. Also, inflammation. So when you have an SCI, there's some chronic systemic inflammation, and that makes it harder to lose weight. Hormonal changes. So for example, men, right, have less testosterone after SCI for a variety of reasons, mostly because they have lower muscle mass than before. Insulin resistance and carb metabolism. So after an SCI, you do not metabolize carbohydrates the same as you did before. And many people with SCI become insulin resistant, and the incidence of diabetes is double that of the general population when it comes to SCI. And also economic status. So things are difficult, I think. Hello?
Join the meeting.
Okay. Can everybody please mute? Thank you so much. So economic status, I think is pretty obvious. If you are struggling financially, it's going to be harder to stay in good shape. And then poor quality sleep. So a lot of people with paralysis have issues with sleep due to pain and, you know, muscle spasms and things like that. Poor quality sleep is not good for weight maintenance, mostly because your body is going to release a lot of stress chemicals like cortisol when you don't sleep well, and that's going to make it hard for you to lose weight. Okay, I'm getting a lot of background noise, so hold on just 1 second. I need to go in and mute people because it's just, okay. Okay, I'm just going to mute everyone. Okay. Someone is saying that they cannot see my slides. Hold on. So, chat. Sorry, I got a message saying that no one can see my slides. Can people see my slides? This is, okay. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. And so why does weight gain matter? You know, other than people don't like being overweight, right? You don't like the way you look. That is a big deal, right? Makes us feel good when we look good. But why does weight gain matter? There's a higher risk of heart disease when you weigh too much. The diabetes risk, as I mentioned, for SCI is double that of the general population. Poor blood circulation, right, when you weigh too much. Loss of independence. This is huge, right? Like my husband, for example, you know, he's a C6-7 incomplete quadriplegic, and he is, I'd say 99% independent. I don't really help him with anything. This morning I helped him put on his shoes, but that's because he was in a rush. But if he weighed, you know, 250 pounds, he wouldn't be able to shower himself. He would not be able to drive his car. He would not be able to transfer from the bed, you know, to his chair. He wouldn't be able to really do anything that he needs to do. If he was obese, he wouldn't be able to do it on his own. So loss of independence does happen when you gain too much weight. Also, hormonal imbalances. Yes, if you gain too much weight, your hormones will be out of whack. And then higher risk of blood clots when you are overweight or obese. Lower immunity. So the SCI population already has lower immunity, but if you gain a lot of weight, it will be worse. And then skin breakdown. So if, you know, pressure sores are a whole other world in themselves. I could talk about them for days. I don't know what this is. I don't know who is highlighting my slides, but thank you. And so skin breakdown. So when you have a pressure sore, it's really difficult to heal it, right? You need to see a dietitian so that you can get the right amount of protein and the right supplements to help. But if you are very, very overweight, your skin is going to break down more quickly and more often. So anyone who has a skin issue, who has had a skin issue or has a skin issue, knows how unfortunate and depressing and life-altering it can be. So, you know, we want to avoid that as much as possible. Also, fatigue and pains, right, when we weigh too much. Fatty liver disease. A lot of my clients who are obese have fatty liver. And then breathing issues. So, you know, with COVID and all of that these days, I feel like it's a little controversial to say, but obesity is for sure in the United States a risk factor for COVID. And so I know that there's some controversy about saying that, because it sounds like we are, you know, perhaps being negative or that we're shaming people that are in larger bodies. But the truth is, the numbers speak for themselves. If you're obese, your risk of mortality with COVID is higher. So these are all the things that can happen if we don't watch what we eat. And if you don't watch what you eat, you will gain weight. And it's really hard to lose weight with paralysis. Now, all that said, please do not go on a diet, because it's not going to work. Studies show time and time again that restrictive diets fail. 95% of people who lose weight from a restrictive diet are going to regain that weight, or even worse, gain more weight than they lost within 5 years. And to be honest, that's a long time. Most of my people, I have a woman who went on keto and she lost 25 pounds in like 4 months. She gained it back in, I think, 2 months, because she just couldn't keep up with that diet. And that's called actually weight cycling. And it's really bad for your body to lose and gain and lose and gain weight. It's a lot of tax on your body, and you don't want that. Diets are also bad for your brain. You know, they make you miserable. They make you depressed, cranky, malnourished. And as I mentioned, they cause weight cycling. So we're not going on a diet. We're learning how to eat properly. So Trendy Diets, just a run through. So there's intermittent fasting, which is basically just skipping a meal. Keto, which is extremely harmful with people with spinal cord injury, because it is super high protein and fat. It's very, very hard on the kidneys. I have clients who have done it in the past, and you know, their hair is falling out and they're malnourished and they have no energy because they don't eat any carbs. And then the low carb or no carb thing, which is pretty much just cutting out anything that you deem to be too high in carbs. Cleanses. So nobody needs to drink a bunch of expensive juices. It's just a trend. It is not, nourishing your body. It's totally unnecessary. And then gluten-free, of course, people love to say, oh, I'm allergic to gluten, but they don't have celiac disease. So unless you have celiac disease, you don't need to be gluten-free. Paleo, which is, similar, I guess, to keto, but there are some carbs that you're allowed to have. It's just, so this is just the list, right? And it's like, what's next? Because there are all these diets. There's going to be a new one next month, and then there'll be a new one next month. And all these diets are just temporary. And so now let's go into what is a healthy diet for SCI. I like to keep it simple for the purposes of a seminar like today, because it's not individualized. And so I like to keep it simple: 3 meals a day and a snack if you need it. So for example, in my household, we eat lunch around 12:30, and we eat dinner around 6. That means somewhere between 3 and 4, there's definitely a snack. When I say snack, I mean food, healthy food, not junk food. Junk food is not snacks. Junk food is junk food. So we'll have a piece of fruit with some cheese, or we'll have crackers and hummus, or we'll have, something that is, real food, but a small portion, and it will make us, give us energy to get through to dinner, and also prevent us from overeating at dinner time. A lot of people, I think, skip a meal and then they overeat at the next meal. So 3 meals and a snack. Balance your blood sugar and get your meals and snack in. Lots of fruits and veggies. So half of what you eat should be plant-based. I think most people struggle with getting enough vegetables and fruits, and it really doesn't have to be difficult. You just need some guidance on what to do. And then reducing added sugars. This is probably, for me, I think it could be really the game changer for a lot of people, depending on what your day looks like. A lot of people eat healthy all day, and then at night they end up binging on ice cream or junk food. And I think that's a behavior modification thing that requires some, individual attention. But it's very important to be aware of sugars, because sugars it's not that they're bad, it's that they're not really giving you much nutrition. So if we can reduce added sugars like sweets and, sweetened drinks and things like that, juices, it will really help you cut your calories and cut your added sugars. And then adequate protein. So I'd say 9 out of 10 of my clients don't eat enough protein, and they eat too many carbs. So if you can focus on these things, right, that will put you in a better place in terms of your nutrition. And then a healthy diet for paralysis is going to include lots of plants, so your fruits and vegetables, protein from meat and non-meat sources. So things like tofu and, beans and nuts, different types of plant-based sources of of protein. And then high fiber complex carbs. So that would be your fruits and vegetables, but also your whole grains. So like quinoa and whole wheat things, stuff like that. Healthy fats, things like olive oil and nuts, fish, avocados, those would be your healthy fats. And then adequate minerals. So I go through this a lot in my group, but like magnesium and zinc, these are really important for people with SCI. Magnesium mostly for the nervous system and zinc for immunity. So making sure that we're getting enough of these minerals. And then fun foods in small portions. So if you like ice cream, it's okay, you can have it, just not a gigantic, tub of ice cream at night. It's important, I think, to eat the foods that you enjoy, so that you don't feel deprived and that you don't end up binging on them, but definitely being mindful of the portion size. And then these are just some examples of healthy, colorful, balanced meals. I like to show these so that you guys can see it's not that hard to eat healthy. You just have to have some plan, right? You have to shop the right way. You have to prepare the meals the right way. And then you need to watch your portions. So like here, you have a nice little serving of broccoli, rice, right? It's okay to eat rice, but check out the portion. There's way more broccoli than there is rice, and more chicken. So it's not, I think most people would have this whole thing be rice and like a couple of pieces of broccoli and some chicken, and that wouldn't be balanced. So this is nice and balanced. And then this is a pasta salad, but see, this is the pasta. This is the rest of the stuff. So it's not like 90% pasta and a couple of things just put in. There's chicken, there's avocado, there's onions, tomatoes, herbs, a lot of good fresh stuff here. And when you mix it up, you have a nice pasta salad. And then here we have some like brown rice and some avocado mango salsa. I absolutely love that combo. And then some grilled shrimps. So yes, there is rice. You can eat rice, you can eat carbs, but look at the amount of protein and, healthy fats from the avocado. Kind of missing a vegetable here, but, I think it's a nice example of, actually, no, there's peppers in here. So you're not missing a vegetable. But I think it's a good example of how you can eat meals that you enjoy in the right portion. And then this is a stir fry. So it's beef and peppers. I would have probably put a lot more peppers, and you can have this either on its own, or you could have it with some, a half a cup of any starch that you would like, some noodles, rice, whatever. And then here is a sandwich. So you'll notice now it's a sandwich, but instead of chips or pretzels or whatever on the side, they got a side salad. So getting your vegetables in is doable. It's not that hard. You just need some support and accountability. And then here we have oatmeal. So oatmeal is nice, in the winter especially, it's very warming. So we have some some chopped nuts, some chia seeds, which are great for your digestion, and some cut up fruit and, banana and blueberries. So high antioxidant there. I will say this is not super high protein unless you were to use something like I recommend almond milk that is fortified with protein, or like a 1% milk, something like that that has some protein in it. You can even add things like hemp seeds, chia seeds, nuts, things like that, and kind of dress up your oatmeal. Not like one of those sad, sad little oatmeal packets that has nothing but sugar and carbs in it, right? And then here's a vegetarian bowl here. So we have tofu, which is high protein and like very, very little fat, avocado, some carrots, edamame, which are soybeans, and then some rice and some sprouts. So very healthy, right? Different colors and different nutrients all together. And then this is an example of how you can get your veggies in at breakfast. I think it's great to start your day off with some protein and veggies. And so this is a Brussels sprouts hash. You can buy these in the bag already shredded, saute them and crack your eggs on top, cover it, and the eggs will cook. I like to do this with tomato sauce too. It's really nice. Or sometimes I'll use sauteed peppers as well. So it's possible. You know, all these things are doable. None of these things are super, super time consuming to create. I think that people have this idea that you have to spend so much time and energy cooking to eat healthy, and it's not true. You know, I don't want to cook every meal from scratch, 3 times a day. That's not sustainable, and it's not really a good use of my time. But I definitely want us to eat healthy meals. So I think if you have a plan and if you're buying good things at the grocery store, and making good choices on your plate, it's all very doable. And I just want to show some examples of meals that may look really healthy, but they're actually not balanced. So this is, I think, what you would consider like a super healthy meal that if like you're on a diet, you would eat that. It's fine, right? It's salmon, it's asparagus. But I think if you were to eat something like this, you might feel like you missed out. And I think that if there was a nice carb here somewhere, I think this would be so much more satisfying. So if you want to eat something like this, that's fine. But just keep in mind that you would probably feel a little more satisfied if you had a small amount of carb here. For example, if my husband and I eat just a protein and a vegetable at dinner, it's almost always because we ate a heavy carb earlier, or we would like to have dessert. So that's how I make room for dessert. I'll skip the carb on my dinner plate, and I'll have it as my carb will be dessert. We did that the other day, actually. And then this is an example of something that looks healthy, and there's nothing wrong with the sandwich other than it's humongous, right? I don't know, what is this, like a 900 calorie sandwich? It's just too much. And there's 3 pieces of bread. So if you're out and there's the triple decker sandwich, just beware, it's 3 slices of bread. So that's 3 servings of carbohydrate. And that's a lot. If you were to eat 1 slice, 1 piece of this, I think that'd be fine. But the whole thing, that's a lot of bread. And then here, this gorgeous pasta, love it, looks so good, but you're missing a protein. You're missing, one of your macronutrients. You have your carb, you have your colorful, nutritious, you have like basil and tomatoes, and that's great, a little bit of cheese, but there's no protein here. This is all carbs, and this is too large of a portion. So it's unbalanced. It looks healthy. All this stuff looks healthy, but it's a little unbalanced. And then, of course, who doesn't love a burger and fries? I love it, but we need to be aware. This is super high fat. This is fried, right? It's all carbs and fat. No protein. There's protein here, but there's also another carb, the bread, another carb, the bread, more fat, the cheese. I think it's just important to know when we make these choices that it's okay sometimes, but definitely want to be mindful of how often we're eating these high fat, high calorie meals. And usually what's right here?
Oh yeah, I'm fat.
Can you please mute whoever's speaking? And then a piece, you know, there'd probably be like a soda here, which is like a bunch of, you know, just sugar. And then here, you know, a gorgeous salad, but the problem is it's kind of unbalanced because there's no protein and there is no fat here. So I have to mute because someone's being loud. Okay. And then here is a salad. Salad looks great, but I get a lot of clients who say, oh, I had a salad for lunch and I was starving. And the answer is always they
Hi,
forgot.
this is Danito. I have a question.
Yeah, I'm going to take questions at the end.
Can you repeat that, because my computer is like skipping around, so I didn't hear like that last minute of what you said.
About what?
About like the salad or whatnot.
Oh, this salad, the reason that it's unbalanced is because there's no protein. So this is a great salad, but as a meal, I wouldn't choose it because you'll be hungry really quickly after that because there's no protein. So I do get people who are
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I do get people who are frustrated who say, oh, I ate a salad for lunch and it was fine, except then I was starving an hour later. And it's like, well, because you made a sad salad that had no protein in it.
I'm sorry. So then why don't you just add in the protein then?
Yeah, I'm showing you photos of things that as they are unbalanced. If you
Okay.
if you added chicken to it, it wouldn't be unbalanced.
Oh, I see now. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, can you guys please mute because it's really, really distracting, especially for the other
Sorry.
people. That's okay, for the other people in the group. Okay, so this is foods to be really careful with. None of these foods are off limits. I think they're fine sometimes, but you just got to be aware of how frequently you eat them because they're not going to help you lose weight. They're only going to help you gain weight. You can fit them in, you know, but I think that if you want to get to optimal nutrition, you're going to need to cut down as much as possible. So the worst is probably fast food, only because I'm not saying don't ever eat it. I'm just saying, you know, for a meal, it could easily be 800 to 1,000 calories for one meal. And that's a lot for just one meal. It's high fat, high calorie, high sugar, and low quality, right, food. And then drinks. So it's surprising, but it is true that some of these drinks, like at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, I actually saw something on the Dunkin' Donuts menu that was 850 calories for a drink. And I just feel like that's so unnecessary. Like I would rather eat a steak dinner, you know, than drink a drink, you know, for 800 something calories. And how that happens is that the amount of sugar, like the syrups, and you know they'll use like cream instead of like milk or whatever, and that's how they actually that's how it actually adds up. And then sweets, right? So sweets are fine in moderation in small amounts. I do get a lot of clients who eat them daily, and that's a good way to lose weight. Time. Everybody else good? Any other? All right, so these are just foods to be careful with, right? So, you know, fried foods, I like potato chips, but if I keep them in the house all day, every day, and we snack on them, then we're gonna gain weight, and it's not fun, right? To have to cut calories and lose weight and everything. So my thing is always, you can eat foods that you like, that you enjoy without having to feel like you are restricted. So you can have these things, but you got to plan for them. Like every Friday we order takeout. So it's fine. You know, I'm not going to stress about it, but during the week we eat healthy. So I don't, you know, one meal isn't going to make or break you. And then, so reading food labels is super important. I think that a lot of people get confused about how to read a food label. So sorry about that.
Jaden.
Okay, he's got keep I in and All right. Okay, so that's completely false, right? Eating Honey Nut Cheerios is not going to help you lower your cholesterol. What it says here, as part of a heart healthy diet. So what does that mean? You know, that means that if you eat fiber, it will help you lower your cholesterol. And if, to be honest, I wouldn't say Honey Nut Cheerios are a great source of fiber. They're okay. There's nothing really wrong with them, but they're making it seem like these are such the perfect choice, you know, for heart health. And they have this heart-shaped box, and, you know, it's very charming. But the truth is, right here, you got to look at the box. How much sugar is there? How many carbs? What's the serving size? Today on social media, I did a thing about cereal, actually, and the serving sizes, because the serving size of a box of cereal, the serving size for cereal for a bowl is 1 cup, but most people will not stick to 1 cup. Most people don't realize it, but they're pouring more like 2 cups in there. So then if you're eating 2 cups, you have to multiply this number here, and then multiply all these other numbers. So when you look at the food label, you know, look at the protein, look at how much sugar there is. Some cereals have like 3 grams of sugar. Some cereals have like 20 grams of sugar. So I think it's important to know, you know, the food label and what to look at, and for your needs, you know, what do you need? And that's how you can kind of decide what food would be right for you. And then fiber, I talk about fiber a lot because it's good for your digestive health, and it's also really important for weight loss if you're trying to lose weight. So making veggies a big part of each meal. Frozen veggies are fine, fresh veggies are fine, cooked, raw, however you like them. I just do want to point out that corn, potatoes, and peas are considered starches. They are not considered vegetables. So if you are, you know, eating corn and potatoes with your chicken, for example, you're not eating really a vegetable. You're eating 2 carbs. So also I say fruit. I think fruit gets an interesting reputation in the diet world, where people are like, oh, fruit has so many carbs. And it's like, it really doesn't. If you don't eat fruit, you're going to miss out on a lot of nutrients. And also, it's very difficult to go to the bathroom, you know, when you don't eat fruit, when you don't get that fiber. And then choosing whole grains instead of like white breads and, you know, things like that are going to be higher in fiber than the white stuff. And then sprinkle seeds and nuts on your food and snacks. So I mentioned before, like chia seeds, hemp seeds, chopped nuts, whatever you like. You can increase your fiber, you know, in these ways. And then mindful eating. So I go over this quite a bit in my group because I feel like people are very stressed about eating. And it comes from a good place, right? It comes from a place of like, I want to be healthy, but there's just so much confusion over like what to eat. And so when you have a good idea of what you're supposed to be eating, and that, you know, like I always say, no food is bad. You know, I never say don't eat this ever. Like that's just not a good way to live, right? Sounds miserable. But when you kind of know that you can eat those foods when you really want, you don't have to cut everything out completely. I think a lot of my clients relax when they hear like, oh, I can still eat out, or, oh, I can still go to the restaurant, or, you know, it's okay to have a slice of pizza, but it has to fit within your week, within your day, within your plan. So when you eat mindfully and with knowledge, when you eat with knowledge, you have less stress. And then, of course, you will have improved weight and overall health, because when you eat a healthy diet of foods that you enjoy, and that includes your proteins, your veggies, your fruits, and your like, you know, fun foods, as I call them. When you eat a healthy diet, including all those things, you do lose weight and feel better in your body. And then when you have a healthy relationship with food, you don't overeat or feel guilty, and you feel satisfied and you feel happy because you found something that works. I think a problem with all of these strict diets is that they cut out a lot of things that people really enjoy. And then, you know, when, for example, on a Sunday, if somebody brings you something that you enjoy, I have a lot of people who get help, right? Like from family and stuff. And it's like, oh, my mom brought me this pie that she made, but I feel so guilty eating it. And it's like, well, that's because you don't have a healthy relationship with food. The reason you're overeating and you're feeling guilty and everything is because you don't have a good plan. So that's why I think having a healthy relationship with food is so important. And then other lifestyle factors. So nutrition is a big deal, but there's a lot of other things that go into play too. So good quality sleep. I mentioned this before, but poor sleep has negative effects on your weight due to what it does to your hormones. So we need to prioritize rest. And then stress management. So stress hormones will disrupt your gut microbiome. So that's probably like the most important part of like, nutrition for SCIs, the gut microbiome, and how you can support your healthy gut so that you can lose weight and feel good in terms of your bowel program. So take a breath, do something that makes you feel less stress. And then physical activity. So moving your body any way, that you can is critical for your weight and your gut health. So if you have a standing frame, get into it. If you have someone that can help you stretch, do that. If you have, what are they called? Those stretchy bands, I think they're called TheraBands. If you have anything like that, like do it, because it's going to help you maintain your muscle mass and it's going to help you stay in good shape. So that's my little presentation for today. I'm going to take questions. I do have a group program. It's a 6-week program. I talk all about optimal nutrition for SCI. We talk about portion control, meal planning, prepping, gut health, constipation, supplements, and pressure sores, things like that. I offer 2 weekly Zoom calls and a private Facebook group. And I am going to stop sharing my screen and take some questions. There's a lot of comments. I'm sure some of them are not good. Let's see. Mute everyone. Okay, perfect. Let's say, okay, any questions? From anyone? You can unmute and speak.
Well, it was a great presentation.
Thank you.
I lost a bunch of weight a few years ago, and like I said, I've been stressed lately and put on a couple pounds. But I actually know what I need to do. Definitely portion control and read the labels. You really need to really take interest in what you put into your body.
I agree with that very much. And I think a lot of people are confused, they just like look at the calories and move forward. But it's like, where are those calories coming from? Are they all from carbs, or is there protein? Is there fiber? Important.
And one thing I would say, just be mindful of the empty calories, which means like soft drinks and juices and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Ariani?
One question.
Yeah.
Where are the sites going to be available anywhere? I don't know if they're.
The slides?
Yeah.
Ariani, you record the Zoom, right?
You did record it.
We record the Zoom. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to share this with all the comments, but I'm gonna take a look at the video and everything as well. Then we're gonna share it on our website at Sinai.org. And I will also put an email blast out when it's up.
Awesome, thank you.
You'll be able to edit those.
Yeah, that's what I'll
things out.
make sure I'll edit those things out, and then I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Yeah.
First time for me. It doesn't happen in my group. But anyway, okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Want to say hi? We have a little time. Franklin, you're welcome, Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good rest of your Friday and have a good weekend.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining, and hopefully we can have future seminars. on different topics. And if anyone has a topic of choice, just feel free to email me about it. And I'll just include my email here, put it on the chat.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Take it
Bye.
easy.